Good morning, everyone. My name is Serena, and today I will be presenting the first part of our lesson plan entitled Where Do British Teenagers Get Their Money From? From Post 2, Unit 6, Money. This lesson is designed for Form 2 students under the theme Consumerism and Financial Awareness. The lesson duration is 60 minutes. The main skill is reading, while speaking serves as the complementary skill. The lesson is designed based on communicative language teaching and task-based language teaching, with digital tools integrated throughout each stage to promote student engagement and active learning. Before the lesson, students are expected to have prior knowledge of money-related vocabulary, such as borrow, lend, spend, pay for, cost, buy, and sell. First, let's look at the learning objectives. By the end of the lesson, students should be able to, first, identify at least 5 specific details from the reading text about how British teenagers get and spend money. Second, complete a listening task by recording information accurately. Third, use the target structure would like to during group discussions and oral presentations. Finally, compare their own financial habits with those of British teenagers through reflective learning activities. These objectives are carefully aligned with the lesson activities and assessment tasks. To meet these learning objectives, I will briefly introduce the language focus, cross-curricular elements, and teaching aids. First, language content. Students learn to talk about consumption with the polite phrase would like to instead of want to. Second, cross-curricular emphasis. This lesson develops students' linguistic and interpersonal intelligence via individual and group tasks. It also cultivates financial awareness and sensible money management. Third, teaching aids. We use the Post 2 textbook, worksheets, projector, plus digital tools. With all this prepared, let's move to the 3 core stages of the lesson. Now I will explain the first stage, which is the set induction. At the beginning of the lesson, students watch a short YouTube video showing British teenagers receiving their first paycheck. The use of YouTube provides authentic and meaningful visual input. According to multimedia learning theory, visual and auditory information can improve learners' comprehension and motivation. After watching the video, students respond to guiding questions such as, what did you say in the clip? Where did those teenagers get their money from? To further increase participation, students submit their ideas use Mentimeter. Mentimeter allows all students, including quiet learners, to contribute simultaneously. This digital tool promotes interaction, engagement, and inclusivity in the classroom. The purpose of this stage is to active prior knowledge and stimulate curiosity about the topic. Next, we move to the presentation stage. In this stage, students examine a pie chart showing how British teenagers spend their money. The chart is presented through interactive slides. Students identify spending categories such as sweets and chocolates, clothes, magazines, and cosmetics, and mobile phones. The teacher guides students to interpret fraction and percentages such as 1/2, 1/3, and 2/3. Students then participate in peer discussions to explain what the data means. This activity develops reading comprehension skills, particularly the ability to identify specific information from visual text. The teacher also reviews key vocabulary related to spending habits. The presentation stage is supported by scaffolding, which helps make the ability learners understand the complex information more effectively. After that, students proceed to practice stage. The main activity is quiz treat. Students work in mixed ability groups and receive true or false statements based on the reading text. Example includes teenagers only get money from their parents. Many teenagers have part-time jobs. Students discuss answers collaboratively before exchanging cards with other groups. This activity reflects the principle of task-based language teaching because students are required to complete a meaningful task with a clear outcome. At the same time, communicative language teaching is applied because students negotiate meaning through interaction and discussion. The teacher provides immediate feedback by displaying the answer key and discussing common misconceptions. Formative assessment takes place throughout the activity through teacher observation and peer correction. Up to this point, students have developed reading skills through prediction, data interpretation, and information verification. The use of digital tools such as YouTube, Mentimeter, and interactive slides enhances engagement while supporting reading comprehension and collaborative learning. Now I will hand over the presentation to my partner, Carol, who will explain the production stage, assessment methods, and pedagogical rationale behind the remaining lesson activities. Thank you.
Thank you, Serena. I will continue with the production stage, which focuses on integrating listening, speaking, and grammatic skills within a meaningful of communication context. The first activity is listening for specific information. Students are assigned in a group of 3, and every of them should play a role in one of the character, Ben, Lily, or Harry, whatever, and listen to the gathered detailed information, such as age, ways of earning money, and what he or she does with the money. This activity can develop listening comprehension while encouraging students to focus on key details. Through this information gap activity, every student holds different information and contributes to the group's final answer. This reflects the principle of communicative language teaching, where communication serves a meaningful purpose, and task-based language teaching, where learners complete a real-world task through interaction and negotiation of meaning. After checking the answers, the teacher deliberately represents the teenagers' profiles by displaying these sentences. Ben wants to buy sweets, Lily wants to buy clothes, Harry wants to buy a computer. Here, students are reminded that when the subject is he, she, or third person, the verb requires a suffix s. So this review helps students notice the grammatic pattern that appears repeatedly in the listening test. Next, the teacher introduces the target structure would like to. So they should learn how to transition. Ben wants to buy sweets into Ben would like to spend money on sweets. The teacher explains that would like to is a more polite way of expressing desires or preferences in spoken English from a language perspective. Native speakers often prefer would like to because it is concise, sociably appropriate, and commonly used in everyday communication. Now, this supports learners in developing pragmatic competence, not only grammatical competence. The teacher then conducts a whole class crow drill. The teacher say sentence using want to, and the students respond using would like to. This controlled practice allows students to gain confidence before moving into a more independent language production. Students remain in the groups and rehearse their science character profile. For example, Ben is 13 years old. Ben would like to buy sweets and computer games. Ben would like to earn money by doing odd jobs. To support learners, sentence frames are also projected into the screen. He or she would like to spend money on something. Group then nominate one representative to present their studying. During this reporting session, students apply both information gathered from the listening task and the target grammar structure. This stage moves learners from comprehension to production and demonstrate the gradual release of responsibility model where teacher support is slowly reduced as learners become more independent. Students' ability to use would like to accurately while reporting serves as evidence that learning objective 3 has been supported. Learning objective 3 as it's written in the formal page use the structure would like to describe spending preferences during group discussion and the oral representation. Now let's move on to the final closer stage. Students complete personal financial profile cards with their own information. Then teachers would like to ask this question. How are your financial habits similar to or different from those of the British teenagers? What does this tell us about teenager life in different cultures? This reflective discussion is very necessary because it will encourage students to connect classroom learning with their personal experiences. So this closure stage also addresses the affective domain of learning by promoting self-awareness, critical thinking, and intercultural understanding. To make a conclusion, or let's say summarize the whole lesson, there are two important values that should be reinforced. First and foremost, financial literacy, which involves the understanding of the value of money and making responsible spending decisions. Secondly, appreciation of effort, which helps students recognize that earning money requires responsibility and hard work. Through the whole lesson, students not only develop reading, listening, speaking, and grammar skills, but also gain practical knowledge about financial responsibility that can be applied in their everyday life. Thank you.